so I just want to bring an updated video on Bitcoin. Haven't wrote one in a little bit, so just trying to get one out. So let's just kind of do a big pullback picture on it. Let's look at a couple of technical indicators, see where we're at, and take it from there. So let's just start with uptrends versus downtrends. So obviously Bitcoin right now is in a overall uptrend, right? You have this low here, almost this big high, low, right? Now we got a high, got a higher low, now we have a high. We're kind of falling off here. We just need to make sure that this low coming down is above this low, which is approximately about 40,700. Provided that stays, even if we cross below this 200 simple on the daily, you're still perfectly fine. You're still in a relative uptrend, so that's positive. Let's bring it to the indicators. So this is what I've been talking about in group for a little bit. We had a bearish MACD cross, even though we crossed positive here. It was a quick and down, and we're still going down on the MACD. So we're definitely bearish. We go into the RSI. Our RSI is making potentially lower lows, right? So I'll look at the RSI like this. However, for instance, we have this here, this bottom here. We kind of need this bottom to hold. We have a high, a little bit higher high. Then we have a lower high here. We have a low here, and here's our lower low over a short-term downtrend on the RSI. Something to kind of be aware of with the RSI. So, but overall, kind of looking for, let's say, a level here, which is about 39 on pounds 34 to hold for a bounce. This could be a short-term reversal. If not, I would expect Bitcoin to have further downside. Our stochastic is trying to cross bullish. So right now it's very mixed on the daily chart, but what I'm looking at is, again, this cluster here. So this cluster right here looks like a support zone. That's where Bitcoin is now entered. It's popped up. We are below the 50 on the simple. Our 21 is curling down. Wouldn't be surprised for Bitcoin to range in here for a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised. Let's turn on our VPN. I'm sorry, VPVR. This is our volume profile. So again, as you can see, our volume profile line matches up with where our bottom support is, about 54,000. That's why I've been calling about a 54,000 potential bottom, or a short-term bottom where it could range. You also have two moving averages that can act as support. If this 54,000 doesn't hold, I would expect Bitcoin to drop down to about 50,400. There is some level of resistance. So again, with the VPVR, this shows you how much trading occurs in a particular zone. So when you fall into a zone, this will let you know that there's a lot. This support is strong support, and when you have what's called a low volume node, that your action will tend to kind of fall quickly through that. That's where you get your bigger bars. That's why, for instance, if you get these massive sell-offs up here, because again, you have low volume nodes, and it wasn't until here where Bitcoin kind of found a little resistance, didn't stay, and now we're kind of treading water here. So again, 54K-ish level. If it doesn't hold, I'm going to expect to about a 50,000 or so level. And again, these are ranges, not exactly 50, not exactly 54, but they're ranges. I like to zoom out a little bigger, and the story gets a little different the bigger you go. So here's our 3-day. Look at our MACD on our 3-day, and it's curling down. So we have a bearish daily MACD, we have a bearish 3-day MACD. When I see these, I'll typically attribute to potentially a further downside, but it's not going to necessarily be a quick wick downside. You have a group of moving averages here. Could it hit here? So again, you'll hear the terminology catching a falling knife. I don't like to do that. That's where you're just guessing bottoms. I would rather put buy orders in at potential support levels, 54, 50K, things along those lines. So we could get to here, and again, this is the bottom that you don't want to see broken. If we make a lower low than this, assume that we're now in a downtrend, which is potential. My assumption is to see that Bitcoin makes some sort of bottom either here. I would assume Bitcoin makes some sort of bottom here potentially. If not, I'd assume a bottom here. And the question is, when it bounces, does it bounce and make a higher high than here? Or does it bounce? Let's get out of that. Or will it bounce and make a lower low? Makes this lower low, we're definitely in a confirmed downtrend. All of our MACDs are pointing in the right direction. I would say it's time to exit out a lot of your positions, but I would wait for a bounce. If you're still holding, I think you'll get some sort of oversold bounce at some point. You just want to see that this price action continues and making a new higher high. Otherwise, you're going to end up basically how we were back earlier this year. If we trend back, let's go on the daily. Remember here. So let's kind of clean this chart up for you so you know what you're looking at. Get rid of some of these lines. So remember, this would have, so look at the time frames. This is back in March, April, May of this year. We came in, we made a high, higher high, higher high, and see how we had a low here. There was a low, so we had a high, swing low, high, swing low, high. This low came in lower than this low, and then this high came in higher than this high, lower than this high. This would have been your time to get out, because again, you made that low, but you get these swings. Again, Bitcoin happens in swings. So you get a swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low, swing high. This swing low was lower than this low. This swing high was not higher than this high. So because of that, this should have been telling you time to get out. You look at correlate to the MACD. The MACD was starting to point down. Again, here's your MACD crossing downwards. Your MACD was making lower lows. So again, there was what they call, remember, bullish divergence. So I was calling the bullish divergence again over here. So a review, you have a high, a lower high, 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 and lower high. Let's go to our chart. So let's get rid of some of these lines for you. So look. Let's just pull this up so you can see. See, we're making a high and a higher high, low and a lower low, and we're starting to sell off. This is what's called bearish divergence. Our price action was diverting away from our indicators. So it's definitely something that you want to be cautious of, and I was calling possible bearish divergence around here. So we almost kind of nailed this top in the group. So let's talk about Bitcoin dominance. So remember, we had a double bottom and Bitcoin just rallied up here. This rally here was where Bitcoin was hitting a new high and a higher high and making all-time highs. It's now kind of treading in this zone. If Bitcoin is to break below this double bottom, I would expect the altcoins to turn on. If not, this kind of breaks up, Bitcoin's price should go up. So keep an eye on this for your long-term of health of your altcoins or Bitcoin. For Bitcoins to breathe, what you want to have happen is for Bitcoin to trend and this dominance decreases. As this dominance decreases, it means that there's less money flowing into Bitcoin and more money flowing into the altcoins. So if Bitcoin price stays stable, which you want to see, so for your altcoins to have a nice little run up right now, you want to see Bitcoin trend between 57 and 54, maybe kind of form a bottom here. Forms that bottom, let this dominance kind of cool off, possibly make a lower low somewhere down here, and your alt should pop up. So it's kind of what I'm looking at now with everything, and that's kind of the current state of the market. So tune in for your next video.